Hello, I'm Chris Riddell, the author of the Ottoline books, the Alienography books, and my new book, Goth Girl and the Ghost of a Mouse. I'm also the political cartoonist for the Observer newspaper. Ada Goth is the only child of Lord Goth. They live together in the enormous Ghastly Gorm Hall. Lord Goth believes that children should be heard and not seen, so Ada has to wear large clumpy boots so he can always hear her coming. This makes it hard for her to make friends, and if she's honest, she's rather lonely. Then one day, William and Emily Cabbage come to stay at the house, and together with a ghostly mouse called Ishmael, they and Ada begin to unravel a dastardly plot that Maltravers, the mysterious indoor gamekeeper, is hatching. Ada and her friends must work together to foil Maltravers before it's too late. Now, the first thing I do is sketch out the figure in pencil. I'm drawing Ada. The thing about Ada is she has very expressive hair. So it can be very sort of wild and fly away, which I think is sort of expresses her character. And Ada's actually based on the daughter of some friends of mine who, when just as I was sort of designing her, designing the Goth Girl character, and trying to sort of figure out exactly what Ada would look like, and what sort of characteristics were, I went to a Christmas party, and this daughter of friends of ours, Morwenna, was there, and I thought, oh, that's Goth Girl. It looked exactly like Goth Girl, so I based Goth Girl on Morwenna, which is why I've dedicated the book at the front to Morwenna. And she'll probably hate me, because she's now, I think she was sort of about 9 or 10. She's going to be a teenager quite soon, and she'll probably be deeply embarrassed if people point out that she's Goth Girl. I like to do a very definite pencil line, and then once you're happy with the pencil drawing, you can begin to go over the lines in ink. And to do this, I use a very fine paintbrush made out of a small alpine animal called a sable. The reason I like using a paintbrush is that it can give a very fluid line, so you can make very, very tiny, sort of fine marks, and then by pressing down a little bit harder, you can make much thicker marks, so it's a fluid line for drawing with. I use waterproof ink to do the black outline with, and then when I lay watercolour over the top, it doesn't smudge. Now, the key to drawing a good boot is to get the toe cap right. You always want a good shine on the top of the toe cap, and creases in the middle of the shoe, and then a good solid heel. Once I've drawn the picture out in pencil and I've inked it in, then I stretch the paper on a drawing board using brown tape, sticky brown tape, so that when I start to put colour over the top, watercolour onto the drawing, the paper doesn't go wavy. Then, to make sure that the paint dries nice and quickly, I use a hairdryer to dry the colours, and that means that when the watercolour paper dries, it dries flat because it's taped down. Right, here comes the hairdryer. I love it because it's quick and the paper then dries flat. You never get that sort of wrinkle. And this is basically my entire technique is colouring in drawings. I like to use concentrated watercolour, which I water down and lay over the drawing in washes of colour. Ada is wearing one of the dresses that has been laid out for her by her maid, Marylebone. Marylebone is very secretive, and Ada's never seen her. She comes out only at night to lay out Ada's clothes on the Dalmatian divan. Ada's wearing her Wednesday clothes, which is a blue jacket and a long white skirt. Ada's mother was a beautiful tightrope walker called Parthenope, who, when Ada was just a baby, had a terrible fall from the rooftops of Ghastly Gorm Hall. Ever since, Lord Goth has been in deep mourning, which is why he believes that children should be heard and not seen. Now, the last thing I do just to finish off the picture is to put the highlights in using white gouache paint. And I love doing this, and I sometimes get carried away and sort of add too many little bits and pieces. You've got to sort of, as with everything, know when to stop. I'm just going to add the finishing touch, which is the yellow on Ada's jacket buttons. And I'm using watercolour. Put the yellow on there, so they stand out. To read an extract from Goth Girl and to find out more about my other books, visit gothgirlbook.com.